Not only did we have our first look at Spider-Man's new suit, we now know who the villains of the upcoming Spider-Man film are. So let's talk about Scorpion and a few others. So once again, everything that we are talking about in this video was provided by Instagram user Chris Higsashi, who is over at the Disney Blockbuster Consumer Products presentation in Las Vegas. He was able to snap a couple of photos of setups, which I've already talked about in other videos. But what we're talking about in this video is a update from him that provides context on some of the footage that was shown off over at the expo, which involved a sizzle reel hyping up the next Spider-Man. This, of course, being Spider-Man Brand New Day, the fourth entry in the Spider-Man MCU franchise. Now, of course, there's no official footage just yet, so what this is based on is concept art, and like most sizzle reels before they start shooting, it's images and things that they got in hand that they can put together and show investors a demonstration. Why this is being done in Las Vegas, as it's a consumer trade show, it's to strike deals for, well, merchandising and things like that to hype up people that want to invest in the actual product. So now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about the footage breakdown of just everything that he quickly highlighted, and then we'll get to the Spider-Man stuff. So he reveals that the show opened up with a Polynesian Moana performance, and The Rock introduced us to the show. Disney X F1, Disney Abu Dhabi was then shown off. Mandalorian and Grogu, Snowtroopers, AT-AT, Jabba, and Zeb, which is very interesting. Now he says it's Jabba. I'm assuming it's not Jabba, but again, maybe he's not the most hardcore Star Wars fan, so he's just kind of thinks it is, and it's possibly his son, which we know that fits in. Either way, though, Toy Story 5, he says, looks good. Then he says Avengers Doomsday, there was just a little sizzle reel and not a whole lot. And then we get to the footage of Spider-Man Brand New Day. So he reveals that the footage that was shown off was just a quick, and I mean quick, sizzle reel. And the first piece of footage that was shown off reveals that the Scorpion is the villain of the film. Now, of course, the Scorpion already exists in the MCU. He's just in lockup, or at least the last time we saw him, he is in lockup. And we've heard throughout the years that Marvel Studios and Sony tried to figure out a way to bring the character back, but it just didn't fit in, especially with the last film, because they pivoted so hard. So he's been sitting on the sidelines. Now, since he's back as the Scorpion, my assumption is, and I think everybody's going to have this assumption, is that more than likely J. Jonah Jameson is going to kind of, do his thing, possibly play it like the 90s cartoon, really. They're going to tie in some experimentation in there, and he's going to be one of the villains that's going after Spider-Man, which honestly makes a lot of sense if you really think about it. Bringing this all the way back around to a revenge tale that's like a decade plus in the making. He finally breaks out. There's a reason to go after him. There's an anti-vigilante squad. I mean, there's a couple pieces here that just fit, and more on the whole anti-vigilante thing and connections to Daredevil and all that in just a little bit. But Scorpion, in my opinion, long time coming. I really hope that, it's the same actor back. Like, you literally have Mac Gargan in this universe. Bring back the same actor. Don't do anything weird, just bring him back and let's go. And let's get into villain number 2, because there's no way you guys believe this one, but Boomerang. Yes, Marvel's Boomerang, aka Frederick Myers. He has a long history dating back to Tales to Astonish number 81 in April of 1966, a character that's been around for quite a long time. He's been associated with various different teams. Obviously, he's, I would say, mostly known as a Spider-Man villain. He's been around and fought different characters, a member of different teams. He's fought Daredevil. He's been a part of Secret Wars, Civil War. Masters of Evil Association, the Sinister Syndicate, and he's got a history to him. He's got a history fighting Spider-Man, which fits. Now, a lot of people are already going to ask why and how and what's the point. Guys, he's the jobber villain. This is the villain like the Shocker in Homecoming, who's there to make way for Spider-Man to beat because he's tied into the other villain, right? It's like, this is the opening act villain that Peter's going to take care of in the first act of the film. Nothing more than that. I can promise you, he's not going to be the main villain, and I think he's a good pick. I'm going to be real with you. I think he is a good pick. Now, the third one is the most interesting one, because this, to me, tells me that this is a direct Daredevil Kingpin connection. Because the third villain is none other than Tombstone. Tombstone is a good pick. So Alonzo Thompson Lincoln, aka Tombstone, is best known, I would say, as a Spider-Man villain. And I think this is largely thanks to just being featured in so many different Spider-Man things that people mostly know him for. Obviously, he's been affiliated with quite a few different crime syndicates in the Marvel Universe, from the Magia, which of course ties into Frank Castle, to The Hand. And of course, he's worked hand in hand with Wilson Fisk previously, which I think gives us a little bit of that connection where we could probably see the character mention what's going on, and maybe he's even employed by Wilson Fisk, and they just won't really talk about it. Now, Tombstone, I would assume, is going to be an overarching villain, like not the primary one, but somebody that's kind of in the background, sort of pulling some strings, like the Tinkerer in Homecoming. And it wouldn't surprise me if they kind of save him for down the road, or he's in this, and then they sort of take him into maybe Daredevil or something and wrap up his story there, which then brings me to talk about Daredevil. So is there going to be a Daredevil connection? I personally think you're going to need to, and since according to these reports and what we're seeing from the villains, this is a street-based film, it's not going to be surprising if this is set literally under like New York martial law and whatever Fisk is doing, and it's a scrappier, more street-level film clearly with boots on the ground and, dealing with mobs and stuff. There's no way that Tombstone isn't going to have a mention or something and directly connect to this, and Fisk like ordering a hit on Spider-Man and whatever they can tie in. It'll be the most subtle of things. They're not going to beat you over the head with it, but we'll know that he's involved and that it's his New York. Marvel wouldn't have done that if they can't do that and pay it off in Spider-Man as well. Now, of course, Fisk can't appear in this, but there is a way that they can handle it where Tombstone could be like a right hand to Fisk. Certainly wouldn't be the first time he does this, and it's probably not going to be the last. So there's a lot of moving pieces in this that I think are really working for this film. And I think that this is really something that takes a lot off, I think, a lot of people's like minds, because we've been told for the better part of 4 years now by every insider, this is the big multiverse film. We're tossing everything in it. And maybe there's a degree of it that's true, but maybe that's just at the end to tie into Secret Wars, so who really knows? But if this film is truly what this report is saying, and other people have confirmed the footage and the 3 specific villains now, I'm hyped. This is sounding pretty legit. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.